Hey guys, welcome to Cinemafia. I've got a quick review to just read, from one of our friends sent in some mail. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, sick.
Not only did you rate one of my only two 10 out of 10 films a 1 out of 10, but you also rated my favorite film of all time a 1 out of 10. Sir, I hope you realize that this means war.
Well, Asher, Phantom of the Opera was shit. Back to you, Lewis.
That was, of course, the other Asher, not the lovely Asher we have here on the show.
Oh, geez.
Let's go round the table. I am the host, Lewis, to my left, as usual.
Andrew.
And I am on Andrew's left, Asher.
And today, we are here for the 6th episode of Cinemafia. I can't believe we've made it this far, and we've worked so hard.
Here's to 666 more.
Look, Asher, could I ask for a second? Could I pass off to you to explain what film we are looking at today? And maybe just give a small little summary of it.
I could do that. Google has helped me. We just watched The Princess and the Frog, a 2009 fantasy/romance film by Disney, of course. Hardworking and ambitious, Tiana, played by Anika Noni Rose, dreams of one day opening the finest restaurant in New Orleans. Her dream takes a slight detour when she meets Prince Naveen, Bruno Campos, who has been turned into an amphibian by evil Dr. Facilier. Mistaking her for a princess and hoping to break the spell, Naveen plants a kiss on poor Tiana, thereby turning her into a frog as well. The pair hop along on an adventure through the bayous and seek the help of a powerful voodoo priestess.
That was a good reading. You only had like a few little flubs there.
Yeah, man,
But
I'm
I
just
barely
dying.
noticed. I didn't notice.
What? He did just fine.
I picked up on a few little
Totally
issues.
out of breath.
Anyways,
pansy.
All right, guys, we've
Look,
got to
let's-
restart the podcast.
Look, let's pass it over to lovely Andrew Gilbert,
Yes.
who is going to explain the Mafia game and how that relates to
Yeah.
Cinemafia.
And make
Yeah.
it pithy.
When I'm not reading out in a sarcastic voice the terrible comments that we have received from our friends, we explain how this game goes, which is to say, a combination of amateur film review and Mafia. So what we've done here is we have received one card each, randomly assigned, and one of them indicates to that person that they are a Mafia. And this means that they have to lie about their opinion of what they thought of the film we just saw. Two of us will be telling our true opinions, but one of us will be presenting something that isn't their true thoughts.
You wouldn't do that to me, would you, boys?
I wouldn't.
Well,
Because
I
am not
wouldn't. I don't know about you. I don't know about your morals.
Oh, jeez.
Precisely. And it's up to the two truth tellers to find out who is lying so that we can vote them off and the villagers can win.
If you would like to play along while knowing who the Mafia is, then go to tinyurl.com/Cinemafia spoilers. That's tinyurl.com/Cinemafia spoilers. Let's get back to the show. All right, we usually start off by giving our ratings of the film. Just, maybe we'll say a few words. So, look, we've all got our pieces of paper written down
Yep.
with our ratings.
We've all written down what we thought of the film, so let's show.
Okay. I have given this a 7 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10.
Interesting.
Well, the odds dictate. Asher, I'm sorry you've been voted off the island.
Well, I guess thanks, guys, for listening in to Cinemafia.
Time to pack it up. We're done here, boys.
No, but for real, boys, this is my true and honest opinion of the film.
Okay, well, look, would you like to tell me where it all went wrong? Where was it that you got, we were found out and you were like, damn? Like, what was the moment where you realized everyone had figured out you were the Mafia? Was it just now when you revealed your absurd rating?
It was the moment when you both had very similar and obviously more correct ratings, and then I released my 5.
Are you accusing
most
us of
clearly.
collusion?
Geez, I don't know what I'm accusing you boys of, but one of you is the Mafia. I'm not the Mafia. I really did think this was a 5 out of 10 film. I think it was hard for me to evaluate it, and it kind of sounds like a cop-out, but of course, we are not the target audience for this film, and I don't want to have to factor that in when I rate it. I'm going to rate it in terms of
Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that.
what I did, what I felt. If I had a child and I was older and I took them to this film, I'd probably come out going, yeah, that was great. I'm glad I took them to that film. I probably wouldn't bother rating it because that would put a number on my child's enjoyment.
Having a
of the film.
child, you'd have a lot of obligations. You couldn't do a podcast with your friends.
I couldn't do that.
So there'd be no reason to.
And I'd never rate films ever. No, I think it's 5 out of 10. Really solid, story. It's a beautiful, Disney. It's not different.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different to anything else that I've seen from Disney.
It's a little strange to hear that first criticism that you gave, given
Sure.
the fact that Disney films are designed to be enjoyed by all ages.
Yeah,
They
Sure.
are
that is like their
designed
tagline.
I
to
understand, but
be
like
enjoyed.
as much as that is,
But I
you
get
know,
it. I
what
totally
we
do
talk
understand that children can get more out of the films.
Yeah, because it's got some pretty, I'd say, low resolution, good, morals that it imparts. It's talking about hard work, and it's talking about commitment and honesty. It's solid lesson teaching sort of story. I could have given it more perhaps if it wasn't so cheesy and predictable, but then I don't feel right actually criticizing that aspect because it's
Because you're not the target, you mean?
because I'm not the target, and a youthful audience might have found them a more revelatory and interesting, but I didn't. But I have to rate it as I felt it.
Right.
I'd like to go ahead and
Yes.
give my opinions in because
Yep.
I think it would nicely counter what Asher has said. You said it was like a typical Disney film, and I guess in the sense of it being fantastical and having like a moral message.
I mean, in terms of the arc of the story, how it progressed.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
obviously.
that's what I'm getting to. I'm
Okay.
saying like the actual idea of like, magical characters, fantasy world that like basically like a
Yeah.
normal world with a bunch of fantasy elements that people don't understand. That is typical fantasy, but the story itself is totally different because like the entire way this was marketed as, apart from this being the first black Disney princess, they're also going for this is a totally different princess story because she herself is not a princess as opposed to all these others.
Yeah,
She becomes a princess, and it's showing like the entire idea of it is like balancing out having like a fulfilling life and having hard work. And Tiana's arc is, she's all focused on achieving her dream, and she's so focused with that she doesn't really focus on like having a goal to itself. It's like she's living for her father's dream, and then it basically becomes her finding out, I can actually balance out, there's more to life than just work, and she becomes a princess through that arc, which I think is totally different to all the other, quote unquote Disney princess films, because they're already a princess and then it's them dealing with the issues of being a princess, whereas here it's dealing with the issues of a commoner and overcoming those issues to become a princess, like which is actually a princess like the level of status, as opposed to the other royalty we see in this film where they've just inherited wealth and don't really deserve it.
Cinemafia drinking game. Drink every time you hear the word princess.
Drink every time Lewis goes on a long little rant.
You
but
both don't drink, so will I just have to be taking two?
why you
of
got to
yours?
call us out like this, bro? The
I'm
fans
sorry.
think we're cool.
Yeah,
You guys
now
cool to
everyone's
me.
gonna think we're dorks.
I know you guys drink the Mountain Dew.
Guys,
Hell
I've only
yeah.
got a few more comments. I thought
jeez.
the comedy. I said a few more comments.
I just said OGs.
No,
I
yeah,
can-
and I interrupted him just to make that stupid joke.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it makes
geez.
sense that he would continue his points, which are valid and are not Mafia.
So I think the songs were very good. I don't think they're as memorable as like Phantom of the Paradise. Like there are a bunch of songs where I'm like, okay, Andrew, like compared to Phantom of the Paradise, there aren't as many songs where I'm like, I'm definitely going to go back and listen to that, or oh, that was really catchy. But at the moment, I'm like, oh yeah, this is fitting the mood. This is a bit of a tune. And the comedy, something that really bumped this up for me was the comedy. I thought
Sure.
it had a very, very nice mixture of slapstick, which fit perfectly in the fantasy element. You got all these like, what do you call them when they're animals that come to life?
Anthropomorphized?
Yeah, anthropomorphized animals, and that itself is comedic because it's so unusual, and then you're seeing them interact in this human-like world as if they themselves are humans. I thought that led to a lot of great moments, especially those three minor characters, the brothers or the poachers or whatever you'd call them.
They were
I thought,
hunters in the bayou.
Hunters.
yeah, in the bayou, down the bayou. I thought that scene was fucking hilarious. I thought the comedy, songs, and I thought it had a nice message. So I really enjoyed this film. Andrew, I'm gonna pass it over to you.
Really liked this.
You were
film.
gonna say
Oh,
love.
he just had to make that up.
Try save yourself now, Andrew.
I was kind of in disbelief because you said practically everything that I wanted to say, in the sense that the things that I appreciated most about this film were the comedy and the message. The comedy was so funny. It was some incredibly good direction in the scenes. The scene where. So picture this: the three brothers have captured one of the frogs.
Yeah. I think it was
they've
Tiana.
captured Tiana, and Naveen is, he's like, oh, I've got to go save her. So he comes along. He's he's hidden under the hat of
Yeah.
the hunter, and he scratches his head when the hunter is scratching the frog to simulate that he's actually touching his head. And then the other brothers, obviously, you know, they start beating him up because
Yeah.
they're trying to get the frog.
Only before Naveen sort of looks at them and goes,
Yeah, it's a bit of a It's definitely Three Stooges sort of comedy. Those three guys. That scene was
I'll
incredible.
compliment that scene because the larger one, lower IQ one, was just loving it.
Yeah,
he
was
he was just having a
Yeah.
great
Yeah,
time.
Like, he's the
he
big
was,
boss.
he was
Banging
just
on.
with his bros.
Yeah,
you know?
banging one another on the head.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
exactly.
But yeah, no, 5 out of 10. Yeah,
No, that
just
scene
put a target on my head.
was very funny. And unlike Lewis, though, I really enjoyed the music. There are many songs that I would consider listening to again in that film.
Just to be clear, I didn't say I didn't enjoy it. I liked it, but it's just nothing super
I heard
memorable.
what you said. I heard what you said.
I heard what you said.
But I had to point that out because the music from Phantom of the Paradise
Let's not get back into
was
this.
so bad. But
Academy
that's
Award
neither
nominated.
here nor there.
Academy Award nominated.
Okay, all right, damn.
Yeah.
I've got shit taste then, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of all that, what I also really wanted to compliment was the detail. There was so much detail. And Disney, you know, has a, you know, tradition of lots of detail or so many
Do you mean in
things
the
going
story
on
or
in
the
these scenes.
animation itself?
In the animation.
Yep.
And the context and the background. So my favorite scene visually was I've Got Friends on the Other Side song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right at the start.
The voodoo.
When Dr. Facilier was tempting Naveen and his butler Lawrence to so he could, you know, work his dastardly scheme to get some money and start taking over the city of New Orleans. And this is a song, and he's in his voodoo shack, and there's a lot of crazy things in there. There's skulls.
A lot of stuff
there's-
on the walls and the floor. Yeah.
and it was all moving, and
Very
parts of
colourful.
it were singing. And
It told you
and
so much about him
rapidly
without him telling you.
changed.
Like, you can see he's like
And-
involved in all this
Yeah,
stuff. It's
you
really
could
good.
see, and there was a whole bunch of different occult things there. It shows you that he was definitely into the occult.
Yeah.
He knew so many things about it, and that song was really good. I really liked that song. It was a banger, as the kids say.
In the opening song, we're seeing the entirety of like the city, and we see the Shadow Man Facilier like performing his tricks and like outsmarting people. I literally thought he was just going to be a minor character. I thought, you know, we're seeing what the city is like, and we just see this. I thought he was just like a random
showing
magician.
Its good sides and its bad sides.
Because I
right?
found it
Yeah.
so like comedic that he's playing with his shadow. That seemed like a sort of, you know, typical sort of random Disney moment, and
He
then he became
wasn't-
like the main villain.
He wasn't as dramatic of a villain as in other Disney films, was he?
Yeah.
Like, he was dramatic in the sense that he, you know, was crazy and wanted power and money. But other villains are like warlords,
Yeah.
like Shen Yu, or the evil
Captain Hook.
father, the ruler of, you know, positions of social power, right?
Yeah.
As
He would
opposed
never
to this
stand
guy.
around- Yeah. He never did a long monologue and sort
Yeah.
of loaded over these people.
There was also that moment where he fed off of the jealousy that Lawrence has from being a servant, where he's like, oh, come on, you slave away all your life, and these fat cats, they get everything. So he himself, like, I doubt he actually believes that. He's just a grifter, you know, trying to further his own interest. But it shows that he can, like, play that side where he's like, oh, yeah, he can pretend he's sticking up for the little guy against the big guy, but really he's sticking up for himself
Yeah,
to become the big guy by, you know,
Yep.
taking over the city or the kingdom or whatever.
But yeah, no, I was hugely impressed with this film. I thought the voices were incredible. I really appreciated all of the accents.
Sorry, do you mean the pure voice acting or the singing
The
itself?
voice acting.
Okay.
I'm talking about. The singing was fine. It was good.
Yeah.
Really good. Tiana's singing was like, it got a little generic.
I wonder if she was. Sorry
but
to
her
keep it.
songs were good.
I wonder if she was actually singing her songs, because the singing voice sounded remarkably different from her voice
I
actor.
suspect she was.
Yes.
Okay.
Usually
they
do.
usually do.
Yeah.
Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually they do. But I'm not so sure.
Wait, was High School Musical by Disney?
Oh gosh.
I think so.
Well, this
Yeah,
is-
they're probably
Yeah.
involved in it.
So my rule has been broken.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's not a classic Disney princess. Blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah. Well, I think Vanessa Hudgens was a princess
I
to me
think
in that film.
Gabriella represents
Gabriella.
what every young girl should be like.
No, that's Sharpay.
Blonde.
Sharpay.
Oh, of course. My
yeah,
mistake.
Sharpay.
Who's Gabriella?
Gabriella is Vanessa Hudgens' character.
Oh, well, that's what you meant, right, Andrew?
We're now reviewing High School Musical.
Yeah.
Or at least our distant impression
Yeah.
of it.
Look. The voice acting was great. All the voices were funny. They were well presented. It was very nice to listen to. It was difficult understanding one of the characters, though.
Mama Odie?
Mama Odie.
Two of the characters.
Oh.
It was difficult listening to two of the characters, Mama Odie and Raymond.
Yep.
However, in Raymond's defense, part of his comedy was that he is difficult to understand.
Yeah, he's missing teeth as well. He keeps losing them.
I said Mama Odie because of the song that she was in. I don't know if the mixing and the levels were not quite right. Because
I did find that.
I totally
couldn't
found
really-
that.
When
I-
she's dropping
yeah.
context and it's like, what are you
100
saying? What are these
Yeah.
life lessons you're trying to yell out to Tiana? I can't hear
There's
you.
a lot going on.
the,
in
the
the
band
background.
the band is too loud.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear Mama Odie, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys realized that too, because now I feel totally vindicated.
But I could understand her dialogue when there wasn't anything
Yes.
going on.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I really had to struggle, but I could understand it. If
I'd just like to say, building off of Andrew's point, this didn't really click at the time, but now that I think back to it, I can remember all the voices of all the characters because they all have very distinct accents. You know,
Yeah.
you got the character Lewis, the alligator. It's about that. Then you got Raymond. What are you doing? Yeah. These I do impressions.
Lewis, I'd like you to do
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, okay. Then
Let's-
we've got
let's hear
then
your,
we've got Prince Navarre or
Naveen.
Naveen. We got Prince Naveen. What would you like to do that? You got that guy. Then you've got the blonde Charlotte.
Yeah.
Oh, I do declare that is gorgeous.
Close enough. Yeah.
Who else? Give me some more names. boys.
Tiana.
Tiana.
Oh, Tiana was the most bland, but that
Yeah,
makes sense because
she-
the idea is that
yeah.
she's in this fantastical world, so you have to amplify that.
That's true.
Amplify
she was
that.
bland.
Yeah.
She sounded nice.
Yeah, she sounds the most
Yep.
she sounds the most formal and posh of all the characters,
Yeah.
which is
Lewis,
why it's
can't you
building
do a
up to.
metropolitan
I mean,
African American female voice?
I am going to build a restaurant.
Yeah,
That's my
basically.
impression. See, it just sounds so bland.
Speaking of that, the choice of language was interesting. There were a lot of y'all.
English, very odd.
Y'all,
You
it was a
know?
little bit too southern.
But that's I guess that's the American style, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it was set in New Orleans. I liked the context. It worked really well for it. But yeah, no, it was pretty. I don't know if the manor house, the high status white family. I don't know if their accent was accurate, but I don't know. Is that what you were saying? The Jarl?
You mean
was a little
Charlotte
bit-
and Big Daddy?
Charlotte and Big Daddy.
Yeah, we don't know his actual name. He's probably some sort of
It's just
royalty, but
Big Daddy on the thing. yeah.
I don't think he was literally royalty. I think he was
Yeah.
a very wealthy man.
I liked
Yeah.
I liked how he was humanized because you can tell he's someone of status, but then you see him like always being sort of
Yes.
brought down to level by Charlotte. How she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Big Daddy," and giving him all these
Yeah,
hugs
and he
stuff.
came into
he
the
was
diner.
so funny.
And they're
I
always
loved that
they've
character.
clearly been friends with Tiana the entire time because that's what I liked about the film. It's not trying to say, "Oh, if you have money, then you are bad," because we see Charlotte and we also see
Yes,
the
that was
prince. It's like
crucial,
he
wasn't it?
has status, and it's not like, "Oh, he's evil," because you see even I guess he had already lost at that his status at that point, but he's playing music with the commoners and he just wants to chill. Like he's got his own passions, just like Tiana. And we see the real evil, I guess, is not being willing to, I guess, like work hard. That's because it's
Yeah.
relating to
It was-
Lawrence.
Yeah,
and,
it was basically trying to
voodoo
promote
guy.
the balance of
Yeah.
work play.
Yeah, that's what
lifestyle.
I really enjoy.
She worked too much.
Yeah.
he works too
Like it's
little.
a basic message, like everything in what's the term? Everything,
Moderation.
yeah, in moderation. But it's like the world that like the way they brought that message to life. It was just so cute.
It was
it's just so
nice.
fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready to vote.
I feel like you are. You two. agreeing with
Normally
one
they
another.
would present the wealthy man in like an evil position, wouldn't they? You
Yeah.
know, he's gonna throw his weight around.
They did
so to
sort of
speak.
do that with the two landowners.
Yes, the
where
bankers.
they were like. Well, they were like, oh, well, someone's actually come up with an offer. So unless you can beat that, then we're going to have to sell to them.
Yeah,
So
because,
they
because
were-
of your background,
Yeah.
which was supposed to.
It's supposed to imply-
mean to erase.
Yeah, yeah. Although that's the thing, they didn't actually touch on race, but
Yeah,
that's like
no,
the
they
thing
didn't.
for us, like the
Yeah, yeah,
viewers be like, oh
literally,
yeah, we
because of your
understand the
background.
connotation they're going for.
Yeah.
Is it's like her race, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it showed. I mean, I was really happy with all the characters. They had some great relationships. I would smile when Big Daddy and Charlotte were on the screen
Yeah.
together, pretty much all the time because they had some really funny interactions. She was like a little bit stuck up, but not like to the point where it was a problem.
Yeah.
Like it was just
Like she's
like
an
a
airhead.
personal affectation.
Yeah.
You know, she wasn't a horrible person.
Yeah,
she
exactly.
was just a little. She was excited and that sort of thing.
She
So
was-
it was
she was
really
one of my
nice
favorite
seeing that
characters.
innocence, even though she was had some problems with herself. But it was nice. It was really cool.
Yeah, like you see her being like, oh, I've got to worry about the prince. I've got to do my makeup. But then when
Mm.
she sees Tiana's like been screwed over by the bankers and then fallen over to like the food and stuff. She's like, oh gosh, what's happened? And she goes and gives her a dress and everything. And even though she does like run off, you can tell that she cares. She's like, oh, darling, you look so precious in that dress. That's more me doing Raymond, I think. There.
No, I got Charlotte from that.
Yeah.
Charlotte,
I got an aneurysm from that, but that's just my personal interpretation.
Dude, a lot of our fans have aneurysms. Okay, just stop that.
Oh God.
Yeah.
if they've been listening this long, then they sure have.
Yeah. Stop hitting the fucking mic. Be careful with that cord because you jumble your knees and this is
jumble your knees. They get all mixed up.
That jambalaya.
That gumbo. I'm gonna have some gumbo.
I said Goomba. What's a Goomba? Isn't it like a little?
Goomba's from Mario. They're the things you jump on.
That I get those confused.
Gumbo and Goomba.
Yeah.
Oh man, now I'm just hungry. Regardless of all that, Charlotte's design was quite funny because every character had normal proportions.
Oh yeah.
But Charlotte's eyes were slightly too far apart. And that was totally intentional.
Yeah, because
I wonder why.
The incest of royalty. Surely it's going for that.
Whoa.
No, surely.
No.
Do you not think that?
No!
That's what I think.
It's that sort of childlike sort of idea. She looked way younger than Tanya.
No.
Tiana.
It was a rhetorical question because I know what it was supposed to make her look like.
What was it supposed to make her look
It
like?
made her look like a frog. It actually made her look like a frog.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that. Like I'd have to go back and look at her character because when I'm thinking back to her, I'm not associating her with the frog. I didn't even notice her eyes being as far apart as you've said.
They were right on the outside.
They were noticed like
Okay.
they were over here. Like
Yeah.
they would be like I'm doing circles next to my eyes
Viewers.
with my thumb and forefinger, and it's crazy.
amazing.
It's crazy. They're losing their minds. Oh man, guys, put your pants back on. Honestly,
Jesus.
That was a good little bit.
thanks.
I did not have my pants off. Just so you know, I always wear pants.
So Asher, would you like to explain why you hated this film?
yeah.
So
Or
listening
at
to
least
your guys,
why you claim to hate this film?
Thank you, Lewis. But that's not the case.
Okay.
I claim to hate this film,
Aha.
but no, I don't. I don't.
He doesn't
hate this film.
hate
I don't
this
hate this
film.
film.
He rated
5 out of
it
10.
5.
So listening to your guys, just opinions that you make perfect sense. You enjoyed this film, for these reasons. I can see that it's a well-made, Disney film. I liked that it was, that original Disney style. It was hand-drawn animation. It
was
wasn't
beautiful.
computer generation. It was really good. And not beautiful, but just really good, Andrew.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, no, it was beautiful. 5 out of 10, beautiful. I just didn't find the story like as engaging, just because a few points I could see, obviously people aren't going to die, and that's not the sort of high stakes I
Well,
would
Raymond
like.
did.
Oh yeah. How about
Well, Raymond died. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like,
I was
in terms
surprised
of-
by that.
But
It's a
he
Disney-
wasn't a person.
Like, at the end of the day, a Disney film, the good guys win. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just throughout the story, there were just like bits that I could see like, oh, next this is going to happen. And it did. And it just sort of took me out of it. Like I said, if I was younger or if I had brought my child to this, I would have been thoroughly pleased
Asher,
with the experience.
you don't have a child.
I could dream.
It's time to take him back to the asylum.
Yeah.
I just think 5 out of 10 because I'd recommend it to people who are interested in Disney films. I'm generally not interested in the Disney princess Disney films. Other Disney films like WALL-E and whatnot, I really do dig.
Well, WALL-E was Pixar, wasn't it?
Oh God, kill me now.
Yeah. I think people always confuse those.
Yeah,
no,
fair
totally. No, really. But a few Disney films I do really like.
Yeah, I wanna quiz you a bit on that. What do you like Disney films
Yeah,
overall?
yeah.
What's
Was
your- what are like your-
Aladdin was
what are your
Disney,
favorites?
right?
What's your
Aladdin.
favorite Disney
I
film?
like the boy ones, guys. Aladdin, Sinbad. That's about it.
Okay.
But I can't really.
What
If
about-
I had a list of all the Disney films, that
Well,
I've
what about
seen,
like
then I'd-
Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White?
Okay,
Like, those are, like, my
I haven't
favourites,
really
I'd say.
seen the. Was Snow White made into like recent ones? Because I've seen, of course, original.
There was Snow White and the Huntsman, which
Sleeping
is like a
Beauty.
horror remake.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Original
That film was surprisingly okay.
Okay.
In my opinion.
original Sleeping Beauty. I've seen that in English class, and that was really interesting. I wouldn't really like it.
King Arthur, Sword in the Stone. What about that, boys? I love that one as well.
I'm just saying that this kind of Disney film is an excellent example of a modern Disney princess film. But I don't like those kind of
Bruh,
films.
what about Mulan?
Mulan's cool.
Yeah, honestly, I saw that ages ago, way too way too long ago to
I'd-
have a
yeah.
current opinion of it. I liked it.
I actually saw
That's
the
convenient.
It is very
Almost
convenient.
like he's saying Mulan is the finest Disney film ever made, but he doesn't want to admit it because he can see the similarities between
Yeah.
this film and The Princess and
That's
the Frog.
true.
I like
'Cause there's-
Pocahontas
because
actually.
it's only at the end of Mulan where Mulan becomes a princess because she finds the king's son who's
Now
like an
we're
admiral.
cooking.
Okay, I see what we're doing now. I see what you're doing, Asher.
You see my psychological trap?
Yeah.
That's why I've taken 4 years of psych. Just
It was
for
all
this.
building up for Cinemafia.
I kind of really liked Frozen, not necessarily because of like engaging story, just because it was a fun experience. It was like, good songs.
It was massive.
Interesting
wasn't it?
characters.
Like,
Massive.
Frozen
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
big thing.
it was massive.
but no,
We're sort of getting off into the
this
weeds
isn't
talking
my
about other.
that's true.
so this isn't my sort of film, but I can see that it's a really well made version of what it is.
Okay.
I
and
feel
I'd
like you've been
recommend
giving like a lot of like compliments. Like you've been saying like a few backhand like, oh yeah, it's not really my thing, but then you've been like, oh yeah, it's really well made.
Well,
There's
it's
attention to
obviously
detail.
it's really well made. I just wasn't, I was not in and invested. I felt like making however many silly comments throughout the whole thing. I just wasn't there.
Yeah.
A few of the really cheesy bits, like I remember like 15 minutes before. Of course, I'm not that smart to call this, but 15 minutes before the final reveal that true love's kiss,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's gonna work. Like, I was like, oh, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
You guys didn't respond, of course, but like that happened.
I mean, I like as you said before, we know in the Disney films the good guys
Yeah.
are going to win. I was actually expecting them to be rather brave and actually have the characters remain frogs because if they did that,
I
I would have
nearly
been
thought
like,
that could happen.
I would have been like, wow, that's really brave. They're not trying to like appeal to kids with beautiful characters that they can sell as
Would
merch.
it
They're
be a
actually gonna
body
just-
image thing? It's
Well,
like
no,
was-
but I
like,
thought it would have been cool if they kept them as
being
frogs.
human was icing on the cake, though.
Yes, I
Like,
understand that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if they went for the message like, hey, it doesn't like because the idea is love overcoming all, blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah, they
if they
need-
were like, it doesn't matter what we look like, we're in love, even if we're damn amphibians, we still have love. If they went for
Yeah.
that, I thought that would have been really powerful.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, it's the same thing. They, in their minds, were thinking that they'd remain frogs forever.
Yeah.
And when they kissed, they were surprised. They were wildly surprised. They were not expecting this. This is the best day ever because they
That's what I
have their
like,
love
because they-
and they're humans.
That's what I like because they
Wow.
didn't need to be humans.
Yep.
They were satisfied, but then it's like, oh well, they also have this, which is a bonus.
Which is why I say that it means the same thing
Yeah.
if they had stayed frogs as well as coming back to human because their mental space was exactly the same.
it
in
would have
either
been the
case.
same sort
Yeah.
of happy
Yeah,
ending
I see your point.
if
Yeah.
they'd kissed and celebratory, blah blah blah.
But I was always expecting. I mean, I just knew that they would come back to human, and
Yeah.
I say no. I mean, I just totally
Yeah.
believe.
I
that
guess
they would
because I
come
heard
back
so
to
much
human.
about this being like a not like groundbreaking, but people saying, "Wow, this is really original take on the Disney princess genre." I was like half expecting it. Like I was like,
So this
maybe
this
they would
came
do
out
this.
in 2009, right?
Yes.
Man,
Yep, 2009.
Feels like only
Yesterday that we watched it.
yesterday.
Years ago. I'd like to compliment the voodoo scene as you did. But not just the opening voodoo scene, but the voodoo throughout. The demons or spirits that I just
Yeah, the
burped
sh-
into
the-
the microphone. That's really nice. The demons throughout that pursued them
Wow.
thank you, throughout the forest.
Yeah, the shadows. That was cool. That's a cool concept. The shadows interacting with
Yeah.
the world.
And the shadows interacting with other shadows. The shadows could interact with your shadow, and they could take you away in that way. A few things I did not like when the pendant was dropped and the shadow caught it by the string.
Yes.
The shadow of the string, which somehow stopped it from hitting the ground, even though there was more string to give. There was slack. I didn't like the second star appearing above.
That was a little cheesy.
It was just like,
Yeah.
oh,
That was that for me. That was
Yeah.
like the worst moment where it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna have a solemn moment.
But
Gotta learn about the importance of death.
I
Oh, he's
really
up in-
liked Raymond's
heaven.
love for the star. That was
Yeah.
just adorable. Evangeline, and how the other characters were like trying to tell him, and then Tiana was like,
This is a no anime zone.
Neon Genesis Evangeline.
I liked how Tiana was stopping the other characters from telling him that Santa doesn't exist, sort of thing. That was
Yeah.
quite nice. And yeah, I loved pretty much all of Raymond's existence. I just
Andrew,
didn't like it
he's
when he died.
He's complimenting
and
so
they did
many
something
things.
so
This is
lame.
this is what I've been saying. Even when I've pointed it out to
Oh,
him, he
God.
keeps going and listing
I-
all these things
Andrew,
where he's like, I like this so
stop.
much, I like this.
I'm not the mafia. I may have just rated this a bit too low. Maybe
Asher,
a 6 is more
I
reasonable,
just
but
want
I can't change
I
it.
just want to ask you, Asher, who do you think the Mafia is?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Lewis. But at this point, I can't say.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Asher Etherington.
If Asher wasn't Mafia, then I would think it was Lewis. Because
Well, you would say that because to you yourself, you're not the Mafia. So
That's
Well,
true.
no,
by odds,
it's
you would
because
say
he
that.
isn't the Mafia.
Because
But I'm saying if he is not playing
because
the Mafia, then he would say
no,
that.
what I said was very stupid, but that's neither here nor there. Because because I could also see Lewis rating this film around about a 5. You know, Lewis has no time for games. He's a busy man. You know,
Yeah.
this is some kid's film.
What about Phantom of the
However-
Paradise, eh? Hey, that was a big fun game to me, and I enjoyed that all the more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But as it stands, you've got a lot of digging to do.
Look,
to get out of your
let
hole.
me keep
Asher.
nitpicking.
All right. Okay.
Andrew, digging in his hole further would not help. That would make his hole
He's
deeper.
got to dig sideways
gotta-
and up.
So-
He's got to claw up.
So let's think about Mama Odie, okay? So Mama Odie is a sorceress who lives in the swamp.
She's actually a voodoo witch. A sorceress
voodoo-
is someone who has a magical bloodline, either descended from dragon, vampire, or some other sort of mythical creature.
And
So
Mother
she's a voodoo witch.
Yes,
And
that's
Mother
something that she
Odie
has learned.
is this film's version of the fairy godmother, essentially.
Fairy god-
They
yeah,
always
yeah,
have
yeah.
that archetype who comes in and helps the main character.
The wise.
Yep, the wise sage.
Sorry for
Mentor, the wise
sorry
mentor
for
or
assuming her class.
Yeah, you
or
idiot.
race in the case of a sorcerer, if it's a
Her,
bloodline,
no, her lineage.
lineage.
Oh,
assumed
that's a
her
good
lineage.
point. Yeah, no,
Ah.
it would be class. Yeah,
Okay.
don't assume her class.
Sorry for assuming her class.
If anything, she's like a. I would say the closest
Swamp
class
witch.
application would be witch or witch doctor.
Witch doctor. It's called her a witch doctor because she is about fixing problems.
Yeah.
She's not about cursing people. It seems.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
so-
witch doctor is fair.
She lives. She's blind.
She's a witch doctor.
God damn it. She's blind. She lives in a swamp
With a snake.
in a hollowed out.
With a masochistic snake.
Yeah, who enjoys being tortured. I
Yeah.
think he's kind of a spirit kind of entity.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
no, just anyway. But he, but yeah. So she's in this swamp in a tree, living in this tree, which looks kind of like the inside
In
of a
a
boat.
boat.
In a boat.
Yeah,
That was
so-
creative.
right.
I like
So
that.
there was a
Right.
boat in this tree that
She's
she lived
blind. She wears pure white and makes gumbo
out of a bathtub.
while blind in the swamp in a tree. How the hell does she not have a few stains or something on her white clothing? I get that she's magic.
I mean, she's probably done it for a while.
but she's shown to be a little bit careless.
Her snake has got her back.
Yeah, you see.
Did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
see what her
Yeah,
snake
yeah,
was
I did.
doing? Like she would die without her familiar.
Yeah, the snake
Yes,
even
yeah.
poured in those extra
The Tabasco.
the Tabasco.
And laid
She was
himself
about to
across
walk
the,
into
Yeah.
holes, and he tight roped himself so
Yeah.
she could walk across. I could imagine the snake like, Mrs. Obama, get down in front of like the in front of the gumbo stains, you know, stuff like that.
I
to
like-
really end racism.
I thought her character was really great, and I enjoyed her scenes. Like I said, though, the mixing, I couldn't really hear what she was saying through her
Yeah.
song.
That
but
was a
just-
big problem.
Yeah.
that was a big
And that took it
oversight.
down a lot for me
That was
because-
a really
that took it down a
Yeah.
lot.
That was a
Yeah, it did.
Lewis. That was a really big oversight.
Yeah.
If
Like there was like
it
a,
was too loud.
It was like a
So-
2-minute song. Like I had an issue with it, but Ash is saying it took
it's
the
an
film down for him
listen,
a lot.
It's an
is a bit
important
bit-
song
is a bit
where,
much.
where they're explaining this and that.
But
she's
literally
trying
every
to,
other song in the film is getting across this theme. So
Sure,
one of the
but
18
she
songs
was
not
trying
doing
to
that
explain,
accurately
right?
isn't that big of a deal.
The whole idea that it's about hard work. It's not about what hard work you do. It's about your character. Blah blah blah. And then and she that's important to get across. I think that was the myth.
Yeah, I was listening to the
yeah.
lyrics and yeah.
And that is a big thing to miss. How many people watched this film and went, "Yes, let's release it," instead of going, "Hey, can we just go back and like, I'm sure we have the separate, files. We have the technology. Let's just boost her vocals a little bit. We recorded them separately. Why not boost it a little bit?"
we recorded them separately, like we do for each of us in Cinemafia.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like I understand. Like I definitely agree. Like I agreed with you. Yeah, they could have.
but you
boosted
don't
it.
know why it takes it down so much.
Yeah, I had no idea how that is one of your even like a part reason to bring this film down to a 5. Because as I said, there are so many other songs where they're hitting you over the head really with the idea you got to work out.
It's not that
life
I'm
with-
missing the message. It's that it's just a very bizarre oversight.
Yes, but it's
which-
one scene from like a 2-minute thing of like a 1 hour 40-minute film. So that like you usually do this where you pick on scenes that are like 30 seconds or a few minutes, and you really focus on those, and that's what makes me most suspicious. Like, you understand? Like, surely you can understand
so
my
this
issue.
These small things are not what brings it down to,
Yeah,
you know, from 10 to 5.
Could you tell us in general what it is that brings the film down?
Well, it's a whole combination of just my general lack of engagement with these types of films.
Yep.
And added on these just bits, that sort of cut away at my remaining respect for the high quality film that it is. I can see it, but I'm just not enjoying it, and these things distract me from otherwise enjoying it. Also at the end, the end where and Andrew mentioned this, the Charlotte is dancing right with the brother of the prince.
Yeah.
And
boy.
oh boy.
Yeah,
And-
go into that
boy.
scene. I'm
Yeah,
not touching
so-
this, but you guys go into it.
so she's like, oh, you know, I heard there was a brother, but looks down and you're dancing with this child.
Yeah, 6
And he
years
goes,
old.
How old were you again? I'm 6. And he
Six
goes-
and a half.
And then she goes, well, I've waited this long.
Yeah.
Shrugs. Continues dancing. End of the film.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And in some defense, that was sort of like a thing, like arranged marriages, but that's usually between royals. Well, obviously
Obviously.
he was a royal, I guess. So I mean,
Yeah, and sure,
yeah.
whatever, 1920s, whatever, whenever this is, different morals. But as Andrew said, if the genders had been swapped, if it was a male prince or male talking about a 6.5-year-old
boy.
princess, that wouldn't have made the final cut
Yeah.
because they would have gone, we can't do this. This is obscene.
Yeah.
I've waited this long.
How fucking
he would have been drawn
creepy.
to look like an evil monster. And look, again, I agree with your point, but again, this was like a 10-second scene at the end of the film, and you understand, these are these little scenes. Like, if you're not the mafia,
Okay, sure. Look,
if you're
this-
not the mafia, then I feel bad. But
These points are not what took it from, say, a 7
then could
to
you
a
get to the
5.
points which are bringing it?
I
down?
already
as far
said-
as I understand, Lewis, he has said exactly why this film is
Thank
a 5
you,
out of
Andrew.
10 to him.
But
and
to me,
he is
he's just
pointing out these
But when I'm
scenes-
asking for examples, he's giving very
Mafia,
small.
Andrew?
You're
Mafia?
giving very
no,
small scenes.
not a chance. Not a chance, Asher.
That he's the mafia?
No,
Oh.
you are totally the mafia.
For fuck's sake, what the fuck?
Why did you? Okay.
No,
Because
So you think my criticism-
legally,
Okay,
legally,
yes.
if that were like he
Yeah,
has
yeah.
presented what he had to say,
the judge would say, you
the
know,
judge has
you've
gone,
already
he
addressed
has
this.
said himself,
Yeah.
I am being smart. SMRT.
It's S-M-A-R-T.
the Simpsons song.
I know.
When his house is on fire.
But he goes, I mean S-M-A-R-T.
Yeah.
Did you guys apparently know that was apparently like just a
Apparently.
mistake? And he didn't genuinely was scripted to say
oh, yeah, I'm
that.
so smart.
He actually
So
just messed it up.
S-M-A-R-T.
I'm not sure if that's true or not, if the voice actor actually intentionally messed it up.
Speaking-
Or if he didn't intentionally mess it up, or even if it was scripted. But I've heard that he messed it up.
I think
and
it was just
scripted,
cast
and it was
so well
And it was
that Homer just...
Andrew, speaking of accidental casting scenes, casting which ends up in the final cut.
Yep.
You know the story of how Jaws, where the woman is taken.
Oh, I thought you were going to relate this to the film that we just saw.
No,
But carry
no,
on.
shut
No,
up,
you know-
Mafia.
you know
We're
on Jaws-
discussing something serious over
You know
here.
how on Jaws, how the lady is attacked by the shark and she's yanked away. Apparently,
Yeah.
she actually broke her leg because the machine that grabbed her.
Because
so
the
that
shark actually bit her leg
No.
off.
So the idea
Holy
is
shit.
she was really in pain. So the scream you hear is her really being in pain. And similarly, in Phantom of the Paradise, when Winslow's head gets
record
compressed,
press.
apparently the machine, that was like a real machine they used, and it actually did like push down on his skull. And if it continued going, he would have maybe even died. So apparently that was like another instance of like a scene where it's meant to be fake pain, it's acting, but he was actually in pain.
And he should have.
He should have died. The actor should have died. Anyways,
Then that film would have never made it.
I am speaking from the heart.
okay,
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
not the mafia.
From the heart of
You're
the
cold.
mafia, boy.
your cold damn little heart.
One of you, the
Look,
thing is,
Asher-
one of you is corrupted by the mafia, and the other is weakened, playing off of that, and you have been influenced.
Look, Asher,
Fuck you all.
Asher, why don't you make your case for
Yeah,
why
go ahead.
Lewis
I thought I
is the
did.
mafia?
Oh, Lewis
Yeah,
is
go
the
ahead.
mafia. I don't know. I understand that you could rate this a 7 out of 10. If I didn't have...
I rest his case.
I also understand why you could rate it a 7.5 out of 10. I just think one of you actually enjoyed this less and is more actually akin to my own rating.
Yeah, and
or
who's
even
that?
even lower.
Who is that?
Okay.
Why don't you tell us who it is?
Who are you choosing?
Let me just enter my mind, fellas, for a second.
All right.
Enter Tiana's place for some nice gum.
Now I understand this is an audio medium, but my reasoning here is utterly ineffable. So let me just meditate on it. It's Lewis.
Okay.
Because, Andrew, I think you can see this for a, whatever. Yeah, fuck,
And
I don't
can't.
actually know.
I'm just
no,
not
but you
enlightened
could
enough.
too.
A great
But
film.
One of
7.5.
you didn't enjoy this film
Yep.
as much as you're saying.
Mhm.
One of you actually enjoyed this film as
Yep.
much as I did.
And
But
you're
you
saying
might
it
have
was
different
Lois.
criticisms. It could be Lois. It
Could
could
be
be
me.
Andrew.
I think you should choose because this is your only time to get one ally, whether that's Lewis or myself.
Fuck.
Mafia boy.
Hey, should we just pretend the system has memory and it's Lewis, the Mafia?
Okay.
He did a funny wee quip when he looked at
What?
his thing. You can't see this.
Okay. I thought you were literally about to reveal your
No,
card. That's
no.
why I was like, what the
He
fuck?
did a funny wee quip when he looked at his card, and I can't remember what it was.
I specifically said before my card, I was like, thank God I'm not the Mafia, and I had not flipped my card
Oh,
around.
I thought you looked at it.
No,
You,
that
looked
was
at
like
it,
the whole.
Thank God
That
I'm
was
not
the whole
Mafia."
joke. I looked like Andrew. You saw me do it, right?
No, you didn't.
Okay, well, I was begging on you guys to see it because I was like, phew, I'm glad I'm not the Mafia, and obviously that would give it away, but I hadn't even checked my card at
Lewis,
the time.
I don't think you're a Disney fan. I think you rated this film a 5 out of 10.
Even if I'm not a Disney fan, we've already gone over, I've made my case for how this is not a conventional Disney princess
You're right.
film.
And I understand why it's not a conventional
So
Disney
that's
film.
not a criticism saying I'm not a Disney film fan. Like, probably the majority of Disney films I'm not a fan of. There are a few, like, classics, as I said, Snow White, maybe Sleeping Beauty. What else? Little Mermaid I
We're
haven't
getting
seen.
into the weeds rather early on in the recording. We're at what, 30 minutes in?
40 minutes in.
40 minutes in. Okay, that's not as early as I thought.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
I
I've
think
just
we've all
been
gone.
feeling the heat.
Yeah, it's been spicy.
I wonder why that is.
It's because I'm not the Mafia, and I'm internally feeling enraged because you guys think I am. If
You're
I
feeling
were the
attacked.
Mafia, I might be a little bit, oh, they're onto me. Oh, maybe
That's
I can
exactly
chase
what you
them.
did when you fucked
But
me
now
over at
I'm
the
just
end of...
really pissed off
That's
because
what you
I'm
did
not
at
the Mafia.
That's what you did at the end of Phantom of the Paradise, where you started laughing. You were like, "Can we vote now?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's him."
That was fun.
There was no reason for you to do
I
that.
wasn't
You
the
were just
Mafia,
you were just going to ensure
I
that.
know. I was trying to make
You said you were trying to fuck with me.
I don't
but it's
know
like,
how- I was
there's
trying to
no
get in your
benefit
mind.
to you. Yeah.
It didn't work, did it?
No. Well,
I
it
don't
did
think
fuck
it
me
actually
up.
affected it. I don't think it affected your final
No,
call.
because you still both voted for me at the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I voted for you
yeah,
because I was the Mafia.
and you were like being like, I could vote for Asher. Make your case, and I was like, oh, he's just being weird. Maybe he's the Mafia.
Look, guys, I
Go ahead.
don't think this film isn't. Yeah, I think this film could justifiably be rated a 7 out of 10 or even a 7.5 out of 10 by people who like this sort of film or who are perhaps more critical reviewers who can put their own things aside and understand it in the context of what it is, which I can see that it is an exceptional Disney princess film. But personally, I did not enjoy it as much as
Yeah,
one of you guys is pretending
I'm hearing
to.
what you're saying. I'm picking up what
And
you're
the
putting
other one.
down. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So to try to win this game,
I know. I
what
have
you
to
need to
cast
do
aspersions.
is you really need to demonstrate that Lewis is lying.
Or that you are lying, Andrew.
Andrew.
But fine. Because I do suspect you. How about we just don't?
What can I
Let's
do?
just vote him off. It's fine. Look,
What
because
can
you've
I-
all said very reasonable things.
Well, do you want me? Would you like me to expand upon my case?
Yeah, Lewis, I want to hear
Yeah,
you
go
speak
on.
for 3 minutes non-stop about
no.
something.
No.
To
Well,
really
I already did
demonstrate.
my big spiel, but I will say this film was sort of similar to The Phantom of the Paradise in the sense that there are a lot of plot conveniences. Like we have Tiana and the prince, and they just happen to run into all these fantastical characters who are so willing to just help them out, go out of their way, and the sort of cheesiness that happens in the final third of the film. But like with Phantom of the Paradise, I guess I'm surprised that you're also liking this film, because to me this is similar to Phantom in the sense that I can excuse these contrivances because I understand what the film is going for. Like with Phantom, to me it was like, are you going to sneeze, Asher? What are you doing?
I'm just
you yawning? What was my point? Okay, in Phantom, fuck you, distract. In Phantom of the Paradise, they have all these, many plot contrivances of how characters acting a bit odd, and to me, that's because they're trying to get across the theme of, love for one's art and the comedy. And here, I thought, okay, I can accept this. Was he a moth? Was Raymond meant to be a moth because the light, or a firefly?
Are you kidding me?
Is meant to be like a lampshade? What is he?
He's a firefly,
A firefly, like the TV show,
just like the TV show that was cancelled.
named after the TV show.
Yes.
Anyways, Raymond
Wait.
and and Lewis.
His name was Raymond.
Yeah.
So he wasn't named after
He was
the
after
TV
it's
show.
everybody's.
His species was named after. Is that what you're saying?
What the fuck?
I was just doing like a random little bit, but I was like trying to like move on to my thing. Like it was just a random little bit. My point.
Yeah. Well, I'm the bits destroyer. So if you try and make any jokes around me, then I'm here to shoot
I
you
will
down.
dissect
You
them.
may continue, Lewis.
I fucking no. Okay, I've got it. Like the idea that like Raymond and Lewis and Mama Odie and who else? There may have been a few. Oh, well, all the other Fireflies who just happened to come out and be like, oh yeah, we're going out of our way. We have no pursuits or dreams of our own, really, or we're willing to put them on hold to help you out for no tangible reason. I was like, I can excuse this because it's a Disney film. It's meant to be fantastical. You know, they're trying to put across a moral message of, you know, well, the idea was balancing out hard work with having fun. So that's why I was able to be like, you know what? Yeah, a lot of these minor characters are plot devices, but I don't mind that they have, you know, colorful little quirks about them that make them memorable, especially their accents. And yeah, that's why I didn't mind those little issues of the plot. That's why I still like, you know, damn, this is still a fun little film.
Good on
Were you listening to any of that? Have you just been on your...
No.
I bet you he's Googling how to win Cinemafia when you are totally
Yeah,
fucked.
there are no results at all.
Oh, damn. We're not that big, obviously.
Look, guys,
Okay, he's admitting it.
how about you two play paper, scissors, rock? Huh? And then I'll vote for the loser as Mafia.
No. No.
Are we ready
Sure.
to vote now?
I'm... Yeah,
I
like...
am.
I'm,
This is
I'm,
bullshit. You guys got to vote for me.
I'm ready to... This will be our shortest episode yet.
Let's
God
vote.
damn it.
Do you want to... I can just use the back of my rating.
Yep.
Look, guys.
Yeah.
I know I'm coming off as super suspicious.
Who are you voting for, Asha?
Yeah.
I'm voting for Lewis.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. I'll vote for him too.
Great.
Just fucking kidding.
For fuck's sake.
Were those all your notes?
Lewis?
No, these are the cast members. And
This
stuff.
better not be you.
Don't worry.
All right.
It is him, Andrew. Vote for Lewis.
This better not be Lewis.
Look, I'm writing Lewis's name
If
down.
Lewis rated this 5,
Now, boys, I'm giving you all an opportunity to change your vote because it's not me.
let's present our votes.
Okay, so you have a 50% chance of winning if you don't
Asher.
vote for me.
I have voted for Asha.
I'm not the Mafia, so I've lost. But I voted for Lewis. And look, Lewis is the
I
fucking
was
Mafia.
the Mafia.
Yeah, fuck you both. Right, actually, no, fuck you, Andrew. Lewis, good game. Good game. Much respect. Fuck you,
I
Andrew.
was certain. How could this happen?
Hey, Lewis, what was your real vote?
I gave this a 5 out of 10.
You're damn right.
No! I
Boys.
was sucked in. I was sucked
I'm
in
still
in the
not
fact
glad.
that he rated it
Yeah.
similarly to me, so
Yeah.
that's why I was so
it got in
inclined
your
to
head.
be with him.
Oh, God. I had you hook, line, and sinker.
You got
dude.
me.
God, boys, I was so worried when I
Use your microphone.
literally before I checked my card, I was like, "Oh God, I'm not the Mafia again." As a joke, literally hoping you guys would see, but like look up, being like, "Did he really just announce it, or it's just Lewis being?" But then I realized, "Oh shit, I am the Mafia," and my body immediately started shaking. I was like, "Okay, fuck, 6 episodes in." My
I don't know
first
if I
time-
picked up on that, but
Nah.
that initial,
Yeah.
I just feel like you looked at it and then said it.
Nah, I didn't.
Or at least you said it like just as you were looking
No,
at
because
it.
to me that would be too obvious that I'm going for the joke.
Oh my
Also,
God.
it's funny because I was
Yeah.
listening to the Phantom episode, which we keep referring to, and you were saying, Lewis, I think you're a really bad actor, but it's like at the time I was being serious, and I guess here my tremendous acting skills came out. So yeah, if I can jump into
What do you
go
mean
on.
you rated it 5 out of 10?
Well, because he's a real intellectual.
yeah, let me go
Oh.
into this. Let me go into
Oh.
so
Please don't talk about race.
Uh-oh.
no, I thought
Guys, are we picking up any unexpected noise in the background?
Yeah.
yeah we might
Perhaps
it-
we
is-
should pause it for now.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's pause. We'll be right back. And here we are. That little vacuumy noise has suddenly gone away. Now, we lost a bit of the magic, bit of the mojo, but we're going right back into it. So, yeah, this film, Princess and the Frog, 5 out of 10 for me.
Oh
5 out of
my
10.
God.
I have to say, like, the positives that I did point out, a few of them I was stretching, a few of them I was lying about. So first of all, the moral message of balancing out hard work and fun, I thought that was stupid. I thought the idea that, I thought like, oh, Tiana, you need to dance and chill out. That's how you have fun, was totally stupid because she was getting a sense of fun from going to achieve her dream. And I was lying when I said, oh, she's just going after her father's dream. That's part of the inspiration, but it was still her own dream to, be self-sufficient, run a restaurant from her own hard work. And I think the idea that, oh, you shouldn't be, doing all these extra shifts. You should like settle down, sort of not go for that dream. I thought that was just stupid. I thought there's no reason to say, yeah.
Okay, Okay, Lewis, so when you were actually at the time saying those things, I was thinking, oh, he's kind of simplifying what it is, but he's, basically I agree with him that these are messages.
Because I was lying saying, oh, it's really cool. They're trying to show the importance of balancing it out, but I didn't agree with
But
it.
I thought you were actually presenting a bit of a straw man inadvertently, or at least maybe you were doing it intentionally for saying that you could now then go, well, that was not actually what I thought.
Yeah.
I think it was a rushed then pretending, but I didn't really pick up on it enough to explain that at the time, because I don't think that was the message, balance and working and play. It was basically just work and dessert. It wasn't necessarily about play and balance.
No, I'm saying that's what the theme of the film was, because literally during the Mama Odie scene, which is ironic that you didn't mention this, they were saying to the prince, like she's singing, being like, "Oh, prince, you've had it all, blah blah blah," and then for Tiana, it's like, I hear you're a bit of a hard egg, but you never, focus on, having fun, and then at the end of the song, Tiana, like the Joker, she's like, "I understand what you're saying, Mama Odie. I have to work even harder." And then Mama Odie's like, "Oh," she does like a big sort of thing.
And the crowd is like, "Oh."
Yeah, because the arc for the prince was good, because the idea is he's had everything spoon fed to him. They even bring up the line, silver spoon in his mouth, and then it's like, oh, he's cut off and he needs to, find his own way to become self-sufficient, and that's why he finds the Tiana, and she's had to be self-sufficient her entire life, and so she sort of helps him develop. So I liked that, but then the counter of saying, oh well, Tiana has to sort of tone down her work ethic, I just didn't really like that, as if having dreams and working towards them is somehow not fulfilling or fun, quote unquote.
Okay, I can understand that.
Also, the songs, I thought they were fine. I didn't find anything too spectacular. I thought the animation that went alongside them was okay. I didn't find any of the settings too spectacular. Like when you were pointing out some things like the setting, I'd just jump onto it because I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm trying to associate myself with Andrew's opinion. So I'd be like, oh yeah, the things on the walls and the floor, like I don't remember what was on there. I was just like, he like Andrew's saying the voodoo stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, where else would some stuff be? Either the walls or the floor or both. So I just jumped on that.
It was cool, and you're doing me dirty. That scene
Andrew.
with that room was so cool.
I did that a few times.
I must say, have some things to say. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Lewis.
Thank you.
You did an
Well done,
exceptionally
Lewis, yes.
good job.
I think this is probably the best performance on the Cinemafia.
Okay, and
But the second thing I'd like to say is I'd like to heavily criticize Asher for being a fucking idiot. Asher, when a villager is about to lose, you need to act differently. You were behaving like Mafia, and I feel like that's justified. This isn't just saltiness.
Yeah.
This is you.
Fuck.
It looked like you had given up.
I had given up. Because I thought you guys were just over at me. I thought, fuck this.
Yeah, he was in a difficult position because he was explaining his general thoughts, being like, it just didn't connect with me. And I'm like, well, you're only pointing out these few like short scenes, but I totally understand that, because it's like, if something doesn't connect with you, there's like an evolutionary thing. Like you can't really explain why you're not connecting with a piece of art. And I don't expect Ash to be able to break down, well, you see, here's my lineage, here's where my ancestors did not like these things. They didn't bring them comfort, and that's why I myself today do not enjoy this. But I was just jumping on that just for the sake of it. And to your non-credibility, you were still jumping on like some really short scenes where I thought you should have tried to make some sort of grand narrative of being
Andrew, since you were criticizing me, maybe I should criticize you.
Go ahead.
You didn't pick up on Lewis's disingenuity.
No, I didn't. He was playing very well.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should revoke what psychology degree you have. I think I'm going to call up the department right now.
Uses psychology for nothing.
I'm going to send them the audio of this recording, and they're going to be very disappointed.
Dude, that was so satisfying when Andrew was literally like, you did some play and you were like, that's what psychology was, and I was like, okay, we're like, we're like 20 minutes in.
So much shit.
Yeah, we're like 20 minutes in. And I'm like, okay, I think I've got Andrew, and I was like, yeah, dude, Asher is dumb. And there was one moment where I was criticizing Asher, and you were like, now wait a second, Lewis, and I was like, oh shit, is he now going to turn on me and reveal that he's been suspicious of me this entire time? But then you were immediately like, because then Asher tried to be like, yeah, Andrew, he's the Mafia, right? And you were like, no, not a chance. And I was like,
no, I
oh
was
my
saying
gosh, saved.
that was like, I was defending Asher in that scenario because what he was saying was literally correct. I agree with you in the sense that you don't have to explain why you didn't connect with a piece of art.
That's where I thought I found out.
That's why I was like, I agree with Asher, even though I think his opinion is false, but what he is saying is legitimate. I don't connect with this piece of art. And so that's why I was like, he can say that, and he has explained about what he didn't like about this film.
Yeah.
So you're jumping on that too much, but I thought you were just like we've got to get this guy.
I will
You
say,
know, as a town,
yeah.
we've got to get this guy. So I was like, but I was still totally sure that you were Mafia.
That's my bad.
I did still think the film had a lot of, fun characters, but like they were fun only in the sense, like, oh, this is cute, not like, oh, wow, this is really enthralling story. Also, I did still appreciate the idea that it's not it's not just generic. If you have status or you're rich, then you're evil. I did appreciate that the film didn't go that route because it would have been so easy.
The evil people were evil.
Yeah, the evil people were just like they had an evil, ethic to them.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, because of status. They were looking for status with which to use their evilness or whatever, their qualities of being evil. But so I did still appreciate that. But for me, the film just did a minimal amount. Also, it's funny.
Man, is this what it feels like?
Is this like Toulouse?
This terrible black feeling in my heart.
And playing off of,
I've been destroyed.
We're going to go back to Phantom of the Paradise maybe, hopefully one more time. When Andrew was saying how the music in that film never ended, I felt that 10 times here with Princess. There must have been like 18 different songs, and they just one after the other trying to get across the context of the film and really hit you over the head
There
with
were
those
like
themes.
6 or 7 songs in the film.
It felt like 18.
But
That's what I'm
Lewis
saying.
is kind of correct that they were all obviously from the same style, and or maybe that obviously that
Going
was
for that sort of
intentional.
like
but that
jazz,
you didn't-
old school rock.
Hold
didn't
on,
really
I've
like
got a
that?
sweet criticism because I can back your point up a little bit.
Okay.
A cool criticism I heard once. All right, in musicals, all right, you're acting, right? Basically, you're acting because you're trying to convey emotions and stuff. However, when words fail you, you need to sing.
Yeah.
Only singing will convey the emotions that you need right now. And when even that is too little, you start to dance because dancing will convey it all.
Sure.
And that kind of relates to what you've said in the sense that, let me just
into the mic, big boy.
lean into the microphone. What was I saying?
You said dancing sort of
Words
conveys.
fail you.
It makes sense because you were talking about how,
I felt they were doing too many songs,
yes.
like one after the other.
Yeah. And I agree with you. In the moments where they burst into song, it wasn't necessary for them to express what they
Yes.
needed to express that was beyond words.
Yes. The ineffable.
Unlike in other Disney films where words became too little for what they needed to emotionally convey. I agree with in that sense.
And especially
they
when
didn't have to sing because the scenes where they sung weren't so dramatic.
and also there were no. I don't think there were any songs which were solos where the person singing was alone, because that's
Yeah.
often a really good place to have
Yeah.
a musical, a
Because
piece.
they're very solemn, someone reflecting to themselves. All the idea is to
like
God, that sort of
Let
thing.
It Go, for instance, where Elsa's just alone and she's singing all of the stuff, because that's an internal thing.
That's definitely a moment where words are failing her.
Yeah.
And she needs to sing.
Yeah, but in this film we didn't see. They were singing to one another and they were explaining things to one another in groups, and it was like, oh, you could have. I didn't necessarily think this at the time, but I agree. You could have, said that in fewer words, easier. But of course, what I did like were how well animated and beautiful
I thought it was
all of the song pieces
beautiful.
were.
I didn't find the animation particularly
I
impressive.
loved the
Really?
animation.
Yeah, I thought it was
Every
fine.
It
song-
was like an improved version of old style Disney.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
absolutely not. You go back and
Oh
watch
my
Snow
God.
White, you see how many frames there are. They've put so much
Snow
detail
White
into.
is beautiful.
Exactly, like that's what I'm
Snow
comparing
White,
it to.
Cinderella.
Exactly.
Beautiful
Those
films.
classics, those are what I'm comparing
This
it
really
to.
reminded me of it.
I mean,
Just a modern.
it
more
had a
modern
sort of
style.
similar art style, but the animation itself wasn't as detailed, which took it away from me. Because I am still making a comparison to other Disney princess films. I know. We'll be fine for time, Mr. Tapping Your Watch. What?
No, nothing.
What the fuck are you doing? Trying to ruin our mojo?
We just put the vacuum cleaner on pause and they'll be thinking, oh my God, when am I going to do some
I said
vacuum?
give us 20 minutes. We'll be
20?
fine.
I thought we were getting 10. Oh,
idiot.
luxurious.
Yeah. One last thing. I did genuinely think the slapstick was funny.
order a vacuum cleaner. sorry.
I did genuinely think the slapstick was very funny in, basically all the scenes where they'd just
there was
where
slapstick.
where they'd just been turned into frogs. Like there was some slapstick before then, which I was like, this is
when
fine.
they were getting tied up in each
Yeah,
other's
that was
tongues,
funny.
Hilarious.
That
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
funny.
Like the slapstick in the bayou. That shit was
yeah,
funny.
slapstick in the
But
bayou.
again, it was like those are like the few standout moments that.
This was a great film. No, it was so funny.
Yeah, like it was an
and the
okay
songs,
film.
even though they didn't need to sing, but the songs were good and it looked beautiful, and I loved the voodoo.
I guess I didn't really like they were going because it's set in New Orleans. They're going for the sort of jazz, old rock style sort of influence to the songs, and it just didn't really appeal to me. That genre, like the songs, sort of all sounded the same, especially with all the accents of the characters sort of being, that sort of southern accent.
They were
So-
they were a little samey.
Yeah.
A little samey.
But yeah, so that's basically my criticism. A fine film, 5 out of 10, but I'm so smart I could play it off as if I thought it was a good film. I
Wow.
played on Andrew's emotions.
Yep.
I attacked Asher. I jumped on to points where you guys would make a compliment.
And
yeah.
to save my ego, I'm blaming Asher.
yeah.
Yeah, I blame myself.
Yeah. God, you're not
But
good at this game,
don't-
dude. We're going to have to
couldn't-
replace you.
I just didn't get into your head enough. I just suspected
what
that
was
it was.
that? I'd like to know, what was it about me as opposed to Andrew that made you
I
suspect?
just think Andrew was the type of person that would appreciate this, get into the groove of what this film is, and
Yep.
appreciate it. And I didn't think you had a taste for this film.
Yep.
In the same way that I didn't have a taste.
You must
for
feel
it.
sort of vindicated that I've given it the same rating as you.
Yeah, I did. Well, because I predicted correctly that you.
You also
would
said
actually,
that you thought I would rate it similarly to you, but
Yes.
have different reasons. Were my reasons for the rating different to yours? If you picked up
Yeah,
for
yeah,
what I
they
said?
were. You didn't necessarily buy a lot of the things that I bought.
Yep. Okay.
But otherwise, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Look-
so
look.
similar issues.
To our viewers of Cinemafia,
Yes.
I would recommend watching.
I would
Princess and
recommend
the Frog.
having watched this film already, so this is redundant.
Yeah, I'd recommend it to a low degree. You know, I think it does have. I think there are people who would enjoy this more than me, which is why I would recommend it.
I think take your kids to
Like
it.
me, someone who has a normal
stop
taste.
talking about kids. You don't have any. Okay. You stop fucking bringing up
How
kids.
old are you? 6.5. I can wait this.
Problematic.
Well, guys, another fantastic episode of Cinemafia.
Fantastic.
Would we like to close it?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Keep sending in your comments,
yeah.
your words of advice, your
Please do.
encouragements, your criticisms, and your shit talk.
You guys know it's quite funny. The first one that we released.
And it's a bye from me.
no. The first one we released got it's now got 97 views on
Yeah.
YouTube. The second one
Like 20?
30 odd.
Yeah.
The one after that
Like
12.
10?
That's
And the
no,
latest
that's
one
generally
has
what we.
3.
That's what you need to. That's fine. That's what
yeah,
we.
yeah.
That's what we need to.
Yeah,
accept
yeah. We're building up.
seriously.
We're building
yeah.
up. Go.
That's normal.
Yep.
Yeah, guys.
Yep.
But please listen to it twice, 3 times, maybe even 12
We
times.
don't have any ad revenue yet, so don't do that. There's no point.
But it will make us trend.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on this 6th episode of Cinemafia.
You-
Join us.
you say
What
it-
will you get us? What is
Yeah.
this?
You say it kind of strangely,
Sick.
though.
What, Cinemafia?
No. I
Sixth.
also, and this is kind of hypocritical because I say it a little bit strangely. It's 6th.
Yes.
6th.
You say
and I did a
XTH.
little bit of a tongue thrust because I've got a minor issue, but 6th.
Oh, I say
baby.
6th.
Yeah.
Sixth.
Yeah.
Sixth.
that's- ugh.
You say SICKTH.
Yeah.
6th.
Sixth. Ooh.
Sixth.
Ugh, it's strange, isn't it?
I don't want
Let's-
that
how do you say
Can you say it,
sixth?
Asher? Can you-
Sixth.
This sounds the exact same to me.
Similar in between. I think. Maybe
What is
I
it
did-
meant to be?
Sixth.
It's meant to
Yeah.
be
Sixth.
6th.
Sixth.
6th.
Now
So
this
yes,
is the
but I'm
premium
slightly
content
doing
that
it wrong.
people are
This,
wanting.
now this is podcasting.
Look, this has been the 6th episode of Cinemafia. Join us next week when we shall be reviewing Akira Kurosawa's 3.5-hour supposed masterpiece, 7 Samurai. We'll see you then.
7th.
It's 7 Samurai. You
Fuck.
fucking idiot.
But
Andrew-
yeah, join us next time.
Andrew and I will be seeing you next time. Don't know about Asher.
Yep, he's off the podcast.
Catch you guys later. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Andrew out.
Bye.
Goodbye forever. See you soon.